Okay, looks like I'm recording. I will share the screen again. Just got to, they can watch this if they want to later. Did you kind of catch up? I know you came in a little bit late. Did you kind of understand what we were talking about?
Yeah.
Okay. So, and we're not using Skynet telescopes. I have to change that on here. We're using Las Cumbres Observatory telescopes, which are bigger, very exciting. But some of the parameters that we're going to need to consider for choosing a double star pair to study are: the two stars have to be about at least 5 arc seconds apart from each other. Otherwise, when we take a picture, it just sort of looks like one star, and we can't separate them out. And then they have to be no more than 3 orders of magnitude difference in brightness. So we use the magnitude system to describe how bright stars are. And it's not a straight linear system, and I'll refer you guys to some reading and some video tutorials later to look at exactly how magnitude is defined. But when you look at like Stellarium software or something, or anything about stars, it'll tell you what their magnitudes are. And we need ours to be either, it's better if they're only 1 or 2 magnitude difference, because if you have a really bright star and a really faint star, you can't, if you leave your camera open long enough for it to see the little faint star, then it captures so much light from the bright star that it will sort of bleed over and you won't even be able to see the little star. Whereas if you just open the camera just enough to capture the light from the bright star, you won't even be able to see the little star, right? So they have to be sort of similar in brightness. So that's something that we're going to look at. And the Stelle Doppie program that I mentioned for helping us select a double star pair has an option where you can select, like they have to be within 1 magnitude or 2 magnitude difference of each other. The other things that we want to consider, it says here that the last measure was at least 5 years ago. That does not have to be the case, but that's something that we can all discuss the next time we meet, which is if we're taking a measurement of a double star, do we want one? We don't really want to do one where someone measured it last year, because it's not going to be very different, right? Do we want one that there have been lots of observations on, or just a few? Does it matter to us when the first observation was or not? Sometimes it's fun. Those double star I was studying with my group in the last semester, it was first discovered and reported on in, I think, 1824, which was kind of awesome to know that it's been over 100 years of data, which is pretty neat. Plus, you know, the more data, the older your observations are, the more likely you are of actually being someone being able to calculate an orbit at some point. I think we're not going to go over the types of lists that are available right now. We can talk about that next time. In any case, these are some of the considerations that we need to think about when selecting a double star. But the first process, or the first thing that everyone needs to do, I think, is to look at the Washington Double Star Catalog a little bit, to look at Stelle Doppie and just explore some of its parameters. And then we can select a double star to study. Let's see, the next slide is the Double Star Catalog. This is just a screenshot from the Double Star Catalog. It has a whole bunch of information. I'm going to be sending you guys all a link that will give you a little bit of a tutorial about the catalog itself, because it's got a lot of stuff. But the main things that we are interested in are theta and rho. This is the position angle that I was talking about earlier, the angle they subtend from each other, and then rho is their separation, how far apart they are in the sky. And those are the 2 things we want to measure. So for each double star, for each double star, it'll tell you what the first and last position angle and separation were, and then we can see what those changes are. So that's just a tiny introduction to the Double Star Catalog. This is just a list of the things that we're going to think about in choosing a double star. And then I have a list here that's a link to the programs that I mentioned, and then some follow-up tasks which we can talk about later. But for now, the main things are, and we're not really in a rush because the seminar doesn't technically start until March. And oh, by the way, Sarah, were you able to register and enroll in all this? Oh, great. So you're actually enrolled in the class?
Yes.
Yay! Yay, good job. Okay, thanks. Sometimes that takes a long time. So Russ, Dr. Janae will be very excited about that. So before next week, the main things are just, I'll send this PowerPoint to all of you and just take a look at these programs. You don't have to make decisions, but just become familiar with them. And it would be good to become familiar with the concepts of right ascension and declination, which I mentioned, I think, before you got on.
Okay.
But it's just how we locate things in the sky. And that's really all I have for now. We're sort of starting off slowly just with a brief introduction to some of this. Do you have any questions about this?
I do not.
Okay. If you or anyone else who's going to watch this 10-minute video, if you have questions, feel free to email anytime. I can always meet with anyone like this just for a couple minutes to go over any questions that come up as well. And I think that's it.
Okay.
You good? How's the club going? Are you in the club, the astronomy club?
I am not. I should be, but.
Okay, oh, that's fine. I don't know how far they were getting. Oh, you guys are back. Hi. Welcome. Okay. Hi.
Hi, sorry we had to move.
Yeah, that's fine. So that's okay. So I actually just kind of went through the last couple slides, but I recorded the last, I think it was like 7 or 8 minutes. Is that about right? That you guys were gone. So you guys can watch it again, but and then I'm gonna send you I'm gonna send you this PowerPoint that has the links to the software. So that your main objectives now are just to test out all that software, see if it works. Stellarium and AstroImageJ are programs that you would need to download onto your computers. And then the Washington Double Star catalog, you just go there and explore a little bit. Try not to be overwhelmed by it. Okay. So all you're going to do before next week is study those programs, download and look at those programs a little bit. Does that sound reasonable? Yeah? So as soon as we get off this call, I will email you guys this PowerPoint and then you can check in. And I would just mention to Sarah, email me anytime if you have questions. We can always meet before next Wednesday if you have questions or whatever. And take notes on what you do, just so that it'll be easier if you need to refer back to things.
Okay.
All right? Does that sound good?
Yep.
Yeah. And I'll send you guys a link to this 7 or 8 minute recording. Okay. All right. All right. Thanks, you guys. It was really nice to see everyone.
Okay. Bye.
Okay. Bye.